Alright guys, hello everyone, as today we're going to explore the promised topic, read the one you chose and yes, you might immediately notice something's off with Nadezda feel maybe this isn't really Nadezda, maybe her voice is different somehow. If you notice that, let me assure you, it's really me and no one else. But for those of you in my Sonechny Club, a Sunny Club, you already know. I warned you that right now I'm going through some huge inner transformations. I'm not sick, in case anyone wonders. I haven't come down with anything. Everything's fine on that front, no problems. But I am going through some very deep inner work, these so-called unpackings, the powerful new realizations, basically, I'm in a phase of internal transformation. Although I don't really like the word transformation, because for me it brings up images of transformers. Maybe that's thanks to my kids, who mainly associate that word with those robot characters. I'm not sure how else to describe this process. Anyway, there's a big shift happening inside me, Zero. A certain turnover in my consciousness. Zero, a lot is surfacing. A lot of soul memory is coming through. And all of this is happening at once. I am at a turning point, a kind of critical point, which I've mentioned before. On that free Zen class recording in my Nadezda school, where I discussed how these points are the core foundation for building a new mindset. I'm pretty sure I explained there what a critical point is and how it can seriously propel you to soar into the stratosphere afterwards towards how these checkpoints affect our lives. I remembered something a fairly well-known athlete once said. Unfortunately, I don't recall his name, but I'm sure you've seen his interviews or quotes online. He said that the result of every one of his biggest takeoffs was actually preceded by a fall in quotes, because I see it slightly differently. I see it as a kind of control point he passed. Right now, I'm in that sort of control point, which I think will allow me to grow significantly and literally soar once it's done. But these inner realizations can manifest in all sorts of ways. For me, right now, it's apparently affecting my voice. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I need a certain quiet mode, which I asked for. You might have noticed that I didn't release a new cocktail episodes, that I skipped a stream in the Sunny Club this time. I did make up for it though. I recorded a lengthy, useful audio for my Sunny Club members, just like our usual 2-hour streams. I shared with them a lot of the insights I've been having. I hope it was valuable. Anyway, if my voice sounds odd, it's still me. Also, I think it might actually be helpful for many of you to learn about these control points. Maybe you'll realize that certain interesting moments in your own life were also control points. And really, once you understand what a control point is, how to handle it, and what it can bring you, you'll be able to grasp some very profound processes, the processes that happen in your soul at moments of specific realization. It's very important stuff, very important to understand. Of course, that's not our main topic today. We're going to focus on the subject you picked, the comment that got the most votes, so I'll read that comment now and then we'll dive in. Here's the winning comment, Nadezda. Thank you for your channel C, and thanks for asking us to suggest future topics. Honestly, I'm tired of the massive dog topic, just fed up. I want something new, the light side, okay? And other people want it too. Who built the pyramids? Where did we come from? Why isn't this our planet? Who are our ancestors? Why are we so different in terms of skin color and genetics? Then the commenter says, Nadezda, as soon as you started talking about apples, about the energy level of fruits and berries, about how fruit can fall so low, I immediately wrote a comment, but it got deleted. By the way, regarding deleted comments, I need to clarify that I personally don't delete any comments except in very rare cases. Like if something is blatantly insulting, or if the person is disrespecting me, my work, or me as a human being in a truly nasty way, or if someone is promoting external resources or spamming. Those are the kinds of comments that get removed by my administrator if they're overtly rude or just promotional. But aside from that, no ordinary comment gets removed. However, I've noticed that YouTube itself often auto-deletes certain comments. The person writes it and it just never shows up. I'm not sure what algorithm it uses or what triggers the AI to flag certain words as potentially unsafe, but it happens. So, if you mentioned apples and it didn't go through, maybe try rephrasing your comment. Anyway, you said you wanted two topics, the light side and development, because all the dark stuff is out there every day for everyone. First off, I get the sense maybe you've mixed up channels, because honestly all we do here is talk about development. I'm not sure why some people don't see it or don't want to see it or don't notice. Or think that I'm only telling you about how they conquered us. Maybe they assume I'm glorifying the dark side as so powerful. But that's not actually my channel's purpose. I'm not telling you, look how strong the dark side is, like some other channels might. I'm not interested in that. I point out the dark solely so you can remove it. You know the saying. Sometimes to see the darkness, you need a beam of light shining on it. You shine light, and then you see where the darkness is. That's precisely what I'm trying to do, shine a light. So you notice, okay, that's dark. Let's get rid of it. I want to help you remove these blockages so you can be happy. I keep trying to draw your attention to what must be cleared away, so you can live without it. I give you tools to do that, right? Let's continue. I said we'll talk about the light side. About what light beings do. Maybe then you'll gain a greater awareness of the invisible work they do. Because the biggest irony is that you don't see the work of the light side. You don't see it or notice it. Maybe it's being obscured for you, or you've been given some distortion so that you just aren't aware. Right now, I want to fully lay out my thoughts on the light side, what they do, how they operate, the whole light beings act, see well, let's say how they approach life and teaching, how they guide our souls in acquiring experience. Actually, by teaching us, I'm not saying they're somewhere up there and we're somewhere down here. We ourselves are the light. Let's talk about how the light side handles and views things. So I'll share how I see the light. The light never does anything for someone else, but it supports them. Z, it walks beside them. C, it'll take someone by the hand and say, don't be afraid, I'm here with you. It'll hold their hand and tell them, you can do this on your own. See, but I'll be here the whole time. I won't let you fall. I'll be with you well, but you must go through this experience yourself so you understand it. The light offers the tools so that in accomplishing it yourself, you learn how to do it for real. Then you're able to do it again on your own or help somebody else do it. Z, maybe hand them that same experience. That's how the light works. You see, that's the part of light work that often remains unseen. It's how we as souls keep descending and incarnating together, living through experiences alongside each other. Think back to what I've told you before about how the light side behaves. Light will say, listen, let's go there together. I have a particular problem. Maybe I can't grasp what odd is, but I do understand cold. Meanwhile, you don't understand cold, but you know hot. Let's help each other. I'll show you cold, you show me hot, so we benefit each other, so be so together, hand in hand. We gain knowledge. You help me, I help you. That is how the light side sees and experiences life. I don't know what you might have expected me to say. Maybe something like, they're high on a cloud with shining blonde hair and sky blue eyes, emanating a bright glow, wearing crowns and halos, overshadowing the heavens with their radiance. I'm not going to tell you that. Why? Because all you have to do is look in the mirror. Look at yourself right now, and you'll see what a light being looks like. See the shape of its face, its eyes, its lips, its hair, how it shines, who it is. Ask yourself, who am I? And see if you sense it. That's how you'll see a light being without superficial trimmings. Try to feel that what does light being look like? Who is it? It loves. It thinks, it feels deeply, it gazes at this world with open or closed eyes, but it still loves. Its love is the expression of its soul. That's what being light is. Light is love. It's not about special effects or fancy auras. It's love. That's what light really is. And you love, see, I love you too. I always say it, I love you all, though. They're not empty words. I even made a whole video explaining that when I say I love you, I hug you all in every video. It's because I truly feel it. I'm not just using pretty phrases to end with a flourish. I speak from the heart. That is what being light is in my view. Maybe you disagree. Maybe for you, light means some lovely visuals. But for me, light is the soul's essence, that genuine love. Light of the soul is sincerities, it's being real, it's love, faith. Faith in oneself first and foremost, in one's own strength, knowledge, needs, and desires, in the longing to express oneself in the world to help others. That's exactly how I feel about you guys. I truly want to help you. I want to shine a light for you, to hand you a tool. This desires is an unselfish love that I feel. I understand it doesn't have to be mutual. You're not obliged to love me back. But it doesn't stop me from loving you, because my love is my choice. It's my soul's choice to love other souls. That to me is being light, or at least that's what I see in myself. I hold no wish for anyone to die or for the world to be destroyed to save someone else. That's not salvation. Destroying the world is an admission of defeat, a recognition we couldn't do it any other way. That's not rescue, it's giving up. We need to try other means. We can always wipe things out, but then we'd say, well, we failed. That would be our weakness. It hurts me terribly when I hear that some people consider other human beings just meat. I've never regarded humans as meat. I've always seen them as expressions of love. However hidden or distorted that love may become under our warped mirrors here. Maybe you'd like me to talk about what's currently happening at the Galactic Court. A lot of you have been waiting for updates about the ongoing legal proceedings, how it's continuing, what's going on with the Intergalactic trial. Last year, I said it started that these investigations had begun through the years, so you might wonder, what are the light forces doing now? What's going on in that court? Why is it taking so long? Well, let's discuss that. My own deep experiences of late, that final control point I mentioned, directly relate to the Galactic Court, because I recently finished my own official report for that court and for the galaxy. Perhaps you've never heard me mention this. I've said before that I remember who I am, why I came here, but I've never gone into the details of my post or mission. I might have mentioned it in passing, but I never really got into specifics. I guess I never found it necessary to display, hey, look at me, see how cool I am, pay attention, because I'm such and such an official from the intergalactic level. I never considered that important, because my task is to illuminate things for you, to show you, to give you tools so you can remove whatever's holding you back. My task is to help you not to display my own credentials so you'll think, oh, if she's some big shot in the intergalactic scene, we better listen to her. You see, the light doesn't do that. The light doesn't go bragging about positions or demanding that everyone follow. Instead, if your soul resonates with what it hears, you'll keep listening. It's about your own internal response and how it helps you solve your own tasks. And that's basically what happened. I was sent here to offer an independent assessment of the situation, because from up there, those in the so-called chancellery or higher office have seen one version of events, but the galaxy's laws require impartiality. Meanwhile, the reports from the dark side were perfect on paper, so the galaxy needed a truly independent perspective. Anyway, I've never spoken about all this because it never mattered. My job was simply to highlight where the blocks are, to hand you the keys so you can remove them, not to swagger about who I am. That's just not how the light side works. Anyway, about the Hoi Galactic Court. The final report I compiled was massive. Imagine a stack of papers 10 centimeters thick, and I slapped it on the table, saying, here's my final statement, my conclusions on what's happening. The reaction was explosive because other independent experts also filed their own reports. Some are partially done, some fully, but so far, all of them look very similar to mine. They arrived at the same basic conclusions. And these conclusions are grim. The dark ones, or black ones, whatever you want to call them. We said we wouldn't focus on them, but we kind of have to. Basically scammed the galactic community. They used the "this is all training" excuse for a full-blown takeover, claiming they were adjudicating us. There's a lot more I could explain about this from a galactic perspective. Let me know in the comments if you want a video about my final report. If enough people are interested, I'll share in detail what I wrote, because I think you have a right to know what's in it. You can decide whether to believe or reject it. Some might go straight into denial, but that's okay. Anyway, the other inspectors or revisors found the same pattern see so right now in the Intergalactic Court. It's basically chaos. I've been attuned to it for the past few days, and it's insane, yelling showdowns, threats. The Dark Ones are on the verge of being torn apart. Because the cosmic families are outraged, I've told you that extremely high-level souls, like parents or ancestors, 12th density beings, can't set foot here in dark territory. They can't fully enter. They still can't fully manifest here. We're near the boundary, but not far enough for them to come in without risking an energetic disruption. So that's how it stands. There's an uproar at high cosmic levels. The founders of entire soul families, like 12th density souls, are basically ready to tear the dark side limb from limb. They're absolutely furious, demanding accountability, because this is an unprecedented fiasco, pretending to run some slow education project while it's been a disguised takeover. Typically, the dark side moved faster, and no one realized what had happened until it was done. But here, it's all fully exposed. Now, the question is how exactly they'll be held responsible, because there's a cosmic code about not violating the rights of any side, including the dark. Everything was done on the basis of contracts, with illusions that all were voluntary. So the next step is figuring out how to deliver justice. I honestly have no idea how it'll conclude. If I sense clarity at some point I'll share. Anyway, the galaxy can't simply say, "The dark is guilty, take them out." There are cosmic agreements preventing outright intervention. So the light side said, "Hold on, see if something's wrong." But we can't just charge in guns blazing, as that would violate the cosmic code. So the galaxy assigned several experts to incarnate here, fully experience how it truly is on the ground, and file objective reports. That's what I was part of, ironically similar to the situation with Lucic, who initially claimed he'd help souls gain experience. So they needed neutral experts to see if that was legitimate, because the official papers said one thing, while Upabov was hearing from the Chancellery that the situation below was disastrous, and the galaxy needs to remain impartial. It can't just side with the light or the dark in a biased way. Yes, from a cosmic vantage, you might think everything can be seen from above, but that's not entirely true. The galaxy can't see every single detail. They only have the official accounts from both sides. That's why a group of souls had to come in Incognito and gather real evidence, like a investigation. They discovered loads of proof that this so-called cold learning experiment is actually brutal exploitation and resource harvesting. But since many of you don't want to dwell on the dark side, let's keep going with the light side. Right now, the entire intergalactic community is in a position like a mother who's discovered her kid's misdeeds and isn't sure whether to beat him or feel well. It's something like that. Because the dark side is effectively caught head-hung, snot dripping, admitting they messed up. The galaxy is furious. Some want them quartered or subjected to unspeakable punishments. That's the wave of righteous anger swirling up there, and I have no clue how far it'll go. But what I do know is that soon, the galaxy will probably require these Dark Ones to experience life on the other side of this scenario. so they themselves get a taste of what it was like for those who suffered. That's how real soul learning works. Not karma the way they taught you, but genuine learning by switching perspectives. So yes, they're in for a fun vacation, if you want to call it that. Meanwhile, the founders of these cosmic families are enraged and demanding harsh penalties, like a total condemnation, so it's a lot of chaos. That's an example of what the light side is currently handling, a massive cleanup. Because ultimately, who's going to fix this mess? Not the dark side, they still haven't learned their lesson. So yes, the light side now faces an enormous job in restoring order to this anarchy we've been living in. It's actually worse than anarchy, or more like a circus. My friend called it a circus tent and said it's high time we tore it down. The cosmic inspectors gave their final verdict that the circus used its opportunity here in entirely the wrong way, an abuse of power. Now, those who orchestrated it will face the consequences. They'll be taught a harsh lesson to ensure they never repeat such a thing. That's how it works. So Fidu, you see now what light beings are busy with how they operate, see, and that it's not really about them having bright eyes or hair or fancy shapes. Light is in their core. It's in what they're truly about, not in how they look. Please learn to see the essence, the core of words and events. That's the single most important lesson I've tried to convey since I first began speaking to you. Look at the essence. Only when you see the essence do you discover what's really hidden, what something or someone truly is. You don't do it by listening with your ears or seeing with your eyes. You feel the essence. Once you see the essence, you'll see reality more clearly. For instance, some people complain about how I speak, how I sit, or that they don't like the tone of my voice or some of my words. Meanwhile, others who look at the essence of what I share have worked through deep childhood traumas that have plagued them their entire lives. They've learned to break addictions, mend relationships in their families, set boundaries for what's acceptable in their lives, overcome their fears, shame, or sense of inner weakness. They found their inner power, stood up for themselves, defended what they love, found joy in small details, learned to love themselves and each other. They discovered that light inside them, all because they learned to focus on the essence of what I'm showing, on the tools I provide. That's what the light side teaches. Look at the essence in every event that happens in your life. What is it trying to show you? Why does it keep repeating? Why do you get stuck in the same cycle? How can you see the door you keep running into over and over? You don't realize there's a locked door blocking you, so you keep smacking into it, hurting yourself, not understanding that you need a key. But you must notice the lock itself first. That's what I'm doing when I talk about darkness. I'm not glorifying it. I'm shining light on it, showing you, look, it's a lock. This is why you can't move forward. Here's a tool, say a hammer, an anvil, say forge your own unique key. You can do it different. That's the work of the light side. Please start noticing it. Realize that the light side's job is not to swoop in on starships and whisk you away to happiness. It's to show you how to free yourself from chains, to hand you the key so you can open your own cage. I've always said no one can save you but yourself. The light's job is to extend the hand when you fall, but grabbing that hand and making the effort to stand up right, that's something each of us must do on our own, because that's how we discover our own power. I'm speaking from the heart right now. I truly hope you learn to see the light side. It's not that the light doesn't exist or that it's not there somewhere, like on cosmic ships watch the Earth. Light is everywhere, even in this darkness. And once you learn to see it, you can find yourself on a brighter timeline. That's all for now, Soul. So I really do love you all. These aren't just words, I genuinely mean it. I deeply love, respect, and cherish you feel, and I hope we can all learn to appreciate one another, starting with ourselves. Many of you don't realize how much you do for the understanding of others. Go to a mirror, please see, look at it, and see who a light being is. That's who it is. So alright guys, at the end of this video there's just a little add-on. I recorded everything in flow, as my soul really wanted to say a lot, to share a lot of its experience. See, my soul felt it was important to speak these words, to pass them on to you also, so I simply stepped aside and let it say everything it wanted. However, there were also the questions in that comments, in parentheses, that I want to address. And I also want to outline aspects of our new segment. First, you mentioned how other people are curious about who built the pyramids. Let me clarify. I've already answered who built the pyramids and shared quite a lot about them. I have various videos that touch on pyramids, or at least I talk about them on my Boosty page. So yes, it's there, along with the question, where did we come from? I've addressed all that on Boosty 2.2.0 background, origins, etc. And as for this isn't our planet, I don't know who said that. It is our planet. We were here long before the Dark Ones arrived. This is our home, not theirs. If you're mixing up not ours with something else, remains purely these pure Earth-based mentalities like we're Earthlings, they're Martians, are simplistic illusions. A soul is free. It doesn't strictly belong to one planet. It can be here today, somewhere else tomorrow. But we do love this place. Many of our souls recall how Earth was before the dark side came, so we're not about to just abandon it because some cockroaches showed up. Of course, some souls did leave, but many stayed, saying, "This is our beloved spot. We'll call pest control if we have to," so to speak. Anyway, as for who are our ancestors, or why are we different in some skin color or genetics, I've also touched on that in Boosty. Then you mentioned how you enjoyed my video about fruits and then berries and their energy. You want more content about the past and about the takeover. I moved that kind of material to Boosty a while ago because it helps sustain my work so I can keep producing content for you. The same applies to my Sunny Club. It's how I can continue developing this channel. You've probably noticed it's growing, the design is better, there's new content, etc. So Sunny Club and Boosty let me evolve, and they let you grow as well in sync with me. That doesn't mean these topics won't show up here on YouTube. I introduced this new segment so you can still discuss topics that appear on Boosty or Sunny Club even if you're not there. But that has to come from a collective request, not just a single person's random idea. If lots of you want a specific topic, if you unite around it, that's great. I'll bring it here, too. That's how the light works too. It gives everyone a chance, regardless of their situation. Anyway, that's all for now. Z, I love you all. Hugs, and see you in the next video then. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.